This is our third episode on purpose, and it's not on purpose, but it's on purpose. This is part 2 from our last episode about what purpose is. And Jay and I are going to go deeper into purpose and how to find it and why people are obsessed with it. Last time we found 3.5 definitions for purpose. So Jay, can you just quickly summarize those for us before we move on to the rest of the podcast, please?
Sure. There's your grand, all caps, life purpose. Then there's this is the half. It's like your role in service to that grand life purpose. Are you a skin cell? Are you a beard cell? If we're serving the whole body of life, of the universe, of the higher power, then all of us have a role as our cell. We're not here to do everything. We're here to do like a certain kind of thing. So this is the half purpose. So mainly it's your grand, all caps, life purpose, and whatever role that facilitates for you. Then there's your societal purpose, like where you fit in society at any given phase of life. If you don't have a purpose in your tribe or in society, even if your purpose is to be a hermit outside of society, not knowing that can cause a lot of problems and issues. People like to feel that they know their role and they know their place in society and they're fulfilling it. And then there's your day-to-day, moment-to-moment, little lowercase purpose, which is, my purpose is to make lunch and my purpose is to clean the house. My purpose is to do this or that. It's almost like goals, but those tiny purposes ideally align with your social identity and your tribal purpose, which ideally aligns with your grand life purpose, your soul's purpose for being here. So the more your 3 purposes or 3.5 purposes are aligned, the more fulfillment you're going to feel.
That's brilliant. I love that. Thank you for explaining, because it's an incredible topic, actually, that I didn't realize how deep it went. So I see questions about purpose over and over again all over the internet. People are super confused. So I want to know, why are people so obsessed with purpose if they don't even understand it?
Because not being aligned with your purpose is one of the worst feelings on the planet. Most people can endure almost anything if they feel that they're on purpose, if they're aligned with their purpose. If a nomad or a hermit has no money and very little resources, they might not care as long as they feel that they're fulfilling their purpose. If you're struggling with family issues or struggling with career issues and people suggest to you, well, just abandon that or quit or ditch that or move in a different place, you might be fine with it as long as you're aligned with your purpose. If you know you're doing it for a purpose, like, why are you in this terrible career? Because I have a bigger plan and a bigger purpose and I'm going to show people, and this is all in service to that, and yada, yada, yada. So most of the pain and suffering of the world kind of disappears or becomes more manageable and easier and lighter on us when we have a sense of purpose. That's kind of a big deal. That's definitely worth pursuing. And if having purpose lightens or eases pain and suffering without taking any time or money or requiring us to change or anything, just having the purpose can heal and ease our pains and struggles in life, that's pretty valuable. And you could see why people would be chasing that, hungry for that, eager for that, obsessing over that, fiending for that. Makes sense.
It does, but I find it interesting because to me, I didn't even know what that was until like 5.5 years ago, right? I never thought about what my purpose was. I thought that I was meant to come here to suffer, that God hated me and wanted me to suffer. So I guess that's why I thought it was my purpose. I never ever used this word before. I never considered really that things could be even better until I searched into YouTube how to be happier. And I still wasn't looking for purpose. So for what I understand what you're saying, fulfilling your purpose, doing things in service to your purpose, this will bring fulfillment, or will only fulfillment come to you when your purpose is finished or fulfilled, I guess?
Well, you tell me. Like, you're living through some crap and it seems meaningless and the pain is brutal and you're like, I've just had enough. And then eventually you change your thinking to, I guess this is what I'm meant to go through, or I'm meant to learn something from this, or this is part of my purpose. This is a meaningful thing that's happening for a reason. And it's in service to my life's purpose or my daily purpose or my tribal purpose. Like, or all three of them, nothing has changed except your perception. You have aligned your thinking and you see a purpose in what is happening. And so the drug abuse or addiction or whatever that you're going through, let's say, is some painful nightmare for a while. And then you suddenly start to see the purpose in it, or you manage to align it with your purpose. Then what happens?
It's not painful anymore. It's not as painful.
Yeah. You're like, all right, I can do this. All right, makes sense. I can handle this. Even if you think, well, I'm going to die or this is going to kill me, you're like, at least I'm dying for a reason. Like, at least I have a purpose. And so this purpose changes everything, but nothing has changed. The amount of time you're doing drugs hasn't changed. The amount of money you're spending on drugs hasn't changed. The amount of withdrawal pains you're going through hasn't changed. Nothing has changed. But when you get that purpose, what happens to your fulfillment levels?
Well, they go up.
Yeah.
They go up.
Right. Can you find me anyone on the planet whose fulfillment levels go down when they discover purpose?
I don't think so, no.
Yeah, I would challenge you. It'd be a fun experiment. Can you find anyone who feels less fulfilled when they discover purpose or align with purpose?
No, I actually heard countless stories about people who are chasing money or chasing love or chasing something else because they think that's their purpose. And then they get whatever it is, the money, the girl, the guy, the whatever. And then they realize they're unfulfilled. And then they realize, okay,
I need more purpose.
What else? What else is there? What else?
What's my real purpose?
Yeah, this isn't the real reason I'm here. And it's happened to celebrities and it's happened to normal people. It happens all the time.
Yep.
Okay. So then purpose is fulfillment.
Well, there's a direct relationship between them. I don't know if they're the same thing. When you find purpose, something happens to your level of fulfillment. And when you lose purpose, something else happens to your level of fulfillment. And so there is clearly some kind of direct relationship, intimate relationship between the amount of purpose you're able to align with, feel, see, live, and the amount of fulfillment you experience in life. Right. So all these people walking the planet feeling unfulfilled in this and that, wonder what would help them. I wonder what might be a good idea for them. I wonder what would be a topic for them to explore.
No, purpose and service, probably.
Yeah. And ideally the three kinds of purpose. Their grand life purpose, their soul's purpose, like why they're here, and their tribal purpose for this phase of life. Where do they fit in? What's their title? What's their role? What are they doing? What are they going to be good at? Or what are they going to focus on? And then their daily purpose. Like, what are you doing day to day, hour to hour, minute to minute? Is your choices on purpose? Are your choices aligned with all the other purposes? Is your moment to moment purpose serving your greater purposes? Or are you off purpose? Are you misaligned with your purpose? I can't think of too many things that's more helpful than that. Even when you meditate, like you're meditating to get clearer on your purpose, or like you're dropping noise from your mindset in order to see your purpose more clearly, moment to moment.
Right. Well, it's interesting that you brought up the levels of purpose. Like I said, so if they're focused on purpose, and you said those levels of purpose. So do you mean that if we find one level, that the others will fall into place? Because ideally they should be connected, right? But they don't necessarily have to be, because I don't know for anyone else, but for me, like the day-to-day purpose, not now, but before, and even now when it does happen, sometimes don't align with my overall purpose and my like social purpose, right? And so then I feel bad. So that feeling of fulfillment starts to go down. And not only that, but I start to feel anxious. Like I need to get whatever it is I'm doing that's not in my alignment away from me so that I can get back on that. And it's now that I'm conscious about that. Like I can say that to myself. But before, I didn't understand why I was feeling bad. And I felt like I was moving things forward. I'm doing things. I'm busy. I'm productive. But I still feel bad at the end of the day.
Yeah, that makes sense, because your purpose is like a North Star. It's like guiding you on your journey through life. If you have your purpose, you're clear on your purpose, you can move towards your purpose. If it's hazy or blurry or not in front of you, or it's in a different direction, you can move forward all you want, but are you moving towards your purpose? Like, why would you feel fulfilled? Moving forward, Like forward is a direction, but it could be anywhere, like north, south, east, west, left, right, up, down. It's only forward if you're going towards something that you have in mind, if you're focused on a destination or a goal or a purpose. If you know your purpose, you can move forward towards it. If you don't know your purpose, all you can do is move random directions. And why would random directions feel very fulfilling?
Well, no, that makes sense. That why people are kind of desperate to find that purpose, because when you don't have one and you're kind of going in circles, like you said, you're guessing the direction to take. You're like spinning around to pin the tail on the donkey, and they let you go, and you're like everywhere. And sometimes the pin goes way far away, but you don't feel good because you're not aligned with the purpose. So that makes sense. So then, do you have any tips for people who are desperate for purpose and they came to this video or this podcast episode to listen, and they're like, okay, I get all this great stuff. Tell me how. Tell me how.
Yeah. There's countless videos and articles on the net on how to find your purpose. And I'm sure they're great. I'm sure they're helpful. But in my experience, purpose isn't something you find by doing some prescribed exercise in some article or video. If it was, that article or video would blow up, be insanely famous, and it would be taught to every kid everywhere immediately. And every adult would be doing it too, because purpose is gold. Purpose is better than money or time or anything, really. Like, it's just incredible. When you have purpose, everything clicks. And if there was some resource out there that would magically give you purpose, I'm sure we'd all know about it.
Yeah.
But in my experience, purpose is an individual thing that is revealed over time and aligned with over time through various different methods. So maybe those videos, you Google them or search them, and they get the ball rolling, and you start to sort of find a little bit of your purpose, or rather reveal a little bit of your purpose. And you feel a bit more fulfilled because you have a bit more purpose and you're a bit more aligned with a bit more of your purpose. Great. But then do you stop? You wake up the next day and like, okay, I'm done. I'm done revealing my purpose. I'm done aligning with my purpose. I did that video. I did that exercise. I guess this is as good as it gets, because that doesn't seem like a good approach to me. You've got to reveal more of your purpose and align more with your purpose. And so if the video did its part, what's next? Maybe you get an entire book on purpose and study it and read it. Or is it all about studying? Maybe studying and reading, consuming things is not the way at all. Maybe you consume one video and now the rest of it is about getting out in the world and exploring and experimenting. To me, to discover and reveal your purpose takes courage. And for the first 10, 20, 30 years of our lives, parents and teachers and peers and authority figures and society puts layers and layers and layers and layers of masks and walls and rules upon us. And every single one of them just weighs you down and puts more blinders between you and your purpose. And so by the time you're 20 or 30, you're pretty separated from your purpose, unless you're one of the rare few child actors or musicians who discover their purpose early or something. But even then, it still might not cut it. Jim Carrey became super famous and successful, and then he turned around and was like, this was never my purpose. All this stuff is fluff, and there's something bigger and greater, and now he's painting or teaching or I don't know what. So he had a sense of purpose for a while and aligned with it, and then his tribal purpose changed and his role in society changed, and he had a new purpose. So you can see what I'm saying, that you're sort of revealing purpose layer by layer, day by day, month by month, year by year, with the things you do and the choices you make. And what kind of choices are going to reveal purpose? Do you discover purpose when you just keep going through the same routine? Or do you discover purpose when you try something new?
Oh, no, you discover it by trying new things.
Maybe someone who's constantly trying new things will find their purpose once they finally commit and become consistent.
Fair play.
You see what I'm saying? It's hard.
Well, I guess it's different for everybody then, because for me, that, like what you just said, for me, it was the more consistent I was at the thing, the more I realized this is something I wanted to do.
Right. But then isn't the consistency itself the new thing that you were trying?
Yes.
So you were still trying new things.
Yes, I was still trying new things because I've not been consistent over my life for a long period of time.
Yeah. the point is, if you make a choice of inconsistency for a long time, maybe the way to discover your purpose is to try consistency for a while.
No.
But if someone has tried consistent routine over and over forever, maybe their purpose is hiding behind some new rock, some new thing, trying some new inconsistent, spontaneous thing. You see what I'm saying? It's not really about the actual choice. It's about the guts and the courage. It's about, are you willing to step out of your comfort zone in order to find and reveal and align with more purpose?
Right. I got you.
So if you bring me someone who's struggling to find purpose, sure, I could sit them in front of a video or give them an exercise. But if they really want significant growth in this area and they want to really zero in on their purpose, it's going to be choices, daily choices of courage, of stepping into their comfort zones and thinking in new ways and feeling new things. If you've been thinking and feeling miserably for a while, maybe you have to try something new and think and feel really positively. And maybe then your purpose arrives. Or if you've been painting a happy face on everything and being as positive as you can, maybe your purpose comes when you really sit down, journal, stare your life in the eyes and admit some things suck, right?
Yeah, right.
It's all about dropping layers and dropping masks and stepping outside of comfort zones. Purpose is a precious reward. Like, it's an amazing part of life. It's a game-changing part of life. And like most things in life, it's not just given to like everyone who just randomly goes through societal motions.
True.
Yeah. If your life amounts to basically going through societal motions that you were taught by society and that you continue to do, I'm not really expecting life to be rewarding you with much.
Well, it's interesting because when you were talking, I thought I had an image of somebody like laying on the couch, like flipping through the channels. And I thought, I guess that person's not going to find their purpose.
Well, not anytime soon.
No, because it's like you can't Netflix and chill and find your purpose unless your purpose is to be a filmmaker and you're like watching tons of films to learn, like, direction and lighting and blah blah blah.
Right, but then life would make it a challenge. Life would make it outside your comfort zone. So life would put that filmmaker in a household where TV is frowned upon and their parents are telling them no, and they have to go watch it at a friend's house and get out of their comfort zone to discover or reveal their true purpose. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's never the couch potatoes who are the world's most purposeful filmmakers. Like, their purpose is not hiding there.
Yeah.
The purpose is when the kid was raised on TV by a loving family who encouraged them to do it and encouraged them to make movies rather than just watch movies or something. You know what I'm saying? Or it's in the opposite. It's in the family where cinema was hated and they had to watch it in secret or something. But it's rarely just you were raised on TV, people put you in front of the TV, no one encouraged you to do anything, no one resisted you doing anything. You just sort of woke up and couch potatoed it out until you realized your purpose was filmmaker. Like, that's not...
Yeah, so you're saying you don't just roll out of bed and roll into your purpose, basically.
Yeah,
I got you. Yeah, I mean, for me, once I started learning about personal development and before we met, I realized, to me, helping people is what I want to do. Now, I was confused about who I wanted to help and how I wanted to help. And I wanted to work with addicts in the beginning.
So it's a vague purpose.
Yeah. I had like this vague, I want to help people, but I don't know how. And I want to work with addicts, but I don't. Like, I want to work with people with money, addicts or broke, and so I had like a vague purpose and I started to feel better, actually. It's why I Googled how to be happier, because I started finding, okay, these things are making me happier. Like, it's weird. I used to love to sleep late and when I started waking up at 5 a.m., I felt better. Like, okay, I don't know what I'm going to do after this. I would walk the dog and come back and sit down and be like, okay, now what? I didn't know where to go, but that hour and a half, that time that I was awake and walking and spending time on myself and with the dog and stuff, I felt the closest to purpose I ever had in my life. And I felt better.
Great. So that was one bold choice, like I said, that revealed a bit more of your purpose. So then you understood, my purpose is to wake up and be active, or wake up and help people, or wake up and not be a couch potato. Like, you learned what your purpose isn't, kind of thing, or a little more of what your purpose is. And this is what I mean. You revealed something. But Did it stop there? Like, okay, great. Now my purpose is done. Or did you need more bold decisions and more layers dropped and more masks dropped and more revealed, right?
Oh, I definitely needed more masks dropped. Like I've talked about this before. I blew up my entire life. I blew up my entire life because one, I was unhappy, but two, the more I did things that were outside of my comfort zone, the more I blew things up and shook up my life, the happier I got.
Yeah. Did that reveal more of your purpose?
Yes.
But were you still clear? Because even last week on our episode,
No.
So your vague purpose became slightly clearer, and then you did more bold things and more courageous decisions, and you let go of more societal conditioning, and your semi-vague purpose became a bit more clear, and so now it was a more visible or something, right? Like it.
Yeah, I just felt good, and it felt like there were like the first couple steps were illuminated for me, right?
Yeah. And so then we shifted more perspectives and had more talks. Last week's episode, we talked a lot about purpose, and I pointed out how if you just list a bunch of titles for yourself, like I'm a supporter, I'm an artist, I'm a musician, it doesn't really feel great to your tribal purpose, your tribal role. And so that life's work in this phase of my life thing would probably feel clearer to you if you had a clear title or role that you could speak out into the universe. And so you called yourself a manager.
Yes.
I'm manager. And did that increase your feeling of purpose?
Yes.
Did you feel more aligned?
Yes. And I had to let go of the societal norms of it's okay to be obsessed with a man, and it is okay to lift him up and be like Michelle Obama. Basically, she doesn't want to run for president. Everybody like wants her to run. She has zero desire to run. She does not want to be president. She was happy to be the supporter of her husband and push him forward. And they called her the closer because they would like have Obama come out and say all these things, and then Michelle would come out and she would close it because she had that extra thing. She was the manager behind him. She helped him. And so that's what I want to do. I mean, not for you to be president of the United States, but you know what I mean, hopefully. And a lot of people would look at her and say, well, she gave up a brilliant law career to support him, right? That's horrible. How could she do that? But they didn't. They thought it was okay because he was the president of the United States. But when it's not the president, people tend to like look at you bad, and all the feminists in your life, oh my God, you're surrounded by, like, you care about a man more than yourself. Yeah, but for me, this feels like my purpose, and like it may go against what other people feel, but for me, like finally admitting it felt the clearest I've ever felt on my whole purpose and reason, not just for like my overall purpose, but the purpose of why I went through so much and why we went through as a couple so much to get to this point.
Yeah, great. So a lot of times purpose requires going against judgy people. Like most people's purposes will be judged. So if you're not being judged for anything, you're probably not that close to your purpose. Or if you haven't been judged for anything, you probably haven't been close to your purpose.
Oh, well, then I must be on top of mine because I've been judged. But
you avoided being judged. Like we had a big fight in April because I wanted you to do what you've always been meant to do and what you always wanted to do. And again, as usual, you were worried about judgment. And I'm like, well, then you won't find your purpose, honey. Like,
yeah. But you were right, because it wasn't until the end of that argument that I just gave up all the societal crap. And I was like, fine. This is the truth. This is what I want, regardless of what other people think. And even now, though, like talking about this right now, when I first said it, the thought was someone's going to watch and judge what you say in the next few minutes as you explain your purpose.
Yeah, most of society just uses judgment like a gun, and they just hold it in front of everybody at all times until people do what they want, until they feel comfortable. And most everybody else runs around in fear of judgment as if it was a gun. And so you try to get them to do something like, well, wake up tomorrow and try something new, follow your purpose. And they're like, yeah, I should. Meanwhile, they're like, no way, man. There's guns pointed at me everywhere. Judgment's pointed everywhere. I ain't doing shit. And they never do. And it's like everyone's just living in fear of judgment as if guns are pointed at them. And then they wonder why they go nowhere and do nothing and accomplish nothing and remain miserable. And it's like, well, you've been living in fear of guns, like judgment guns. And all your heroes ditched that a long time ago. All your heroes were like, screw the judgment guns. I'm doing my own thing. And every single one of your heroes has a huge story of haters and judgment, but you don't, because you haven't followed in their footsteps and you're still afraid of the guns.
The thing is that if you live a purpose someone else decides you should live, they will judge you for it.
Yeah, you still get the guns.
Yes, you will be judged because, you're doing what someone else said. You're not doing what you said or whatever. They will find a reason to judge you. And if you do your purpose, the thing that brings you the most fulfillment that everyone around you hates, they're going to judge you anyway.
Yeah, the judgment doesn't matter. The guns don't matter when you're following your purpose.
Well, I think, honestly, and I'm not saying I'm perfect at this in any way, but to me, if you're going to get a gun in your face and a gun of judgment in your face constantly, which way, no matter which way you turn, why not just go the way you want?
Yeah. And that's what all of the heroes you look up to figured out. And they figured it out early and they got their shit together and they started following their purpose. Guns of judgment be damned.
Right.
You can do it too, or you can wait till you're 90 on your deathbed and people will be like, what did you regret? And you'd be like, I regret not following my purpose because I was afraid of judgment. It's like, this is not hard to predict, man. It's a path everyone's going to take. You're either going to regret not following your purpose or you're going to follow your heroes and jump on your purpose early.
Okay, so this is a great segue into my next question, actually. Thank you. So what's so bad about dying without living your purpose?
I didn't say anything that was bad about it. I'm just saying...
Okay, you didn't say that it was bad, but out there on the internet and people talk and they feel like one of the reasons they're so desperate for find purpose is because they're afraid to die without having fulfilled that purpose or at least knowing what it is, right? So when my cousin was on her deathbed, one of the things she repeated so many times was, I'm not finished. I haven't finished my purpose. I'm not done here. But
she was.
Of course she was. She did fulfill her purpose. But she had convinced herself she hadn't because she'd spent the last few years of her life not doing the things she really wanted to do, right? And she wasn't...
Oh, then maybe she wasn't. Like this gets into a whole thing about death, because death comes to everyone and it's a natural part of life. And, you'd have to watch our episode on deadlines to really dig into that. But do you think that when people follow their purpose and are aligned with it, they're likely to experience more joy, have healthier cells, and live longer? Or do you think that they're more likely to die quickly?
No, I think if you're living your purpose and you're doing what you're supposed to do, you're not going to die as fast. Like Steve Jobs probably would have died sooner had he not worked on the thing that brought him fulfillment and happiness.
Well, maybe. So do you think Anne Frank fulfilled her purpose?
I mean, it depends. It depends.
Did she seem like someone who was aligned with her purpose?
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever read a word from this girl?
I haven't read her whole book.
Yeah. Obviously on purpose. Obviously aligned. It's jaw dropping for me to think that she was not aligned with her purpose.
She was aligned with her purpose.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So she's inspired millions, billions. She's left a mark, a huge legacy, but her death came relatively early.
Yes, it did.
Right. So then the question remains, do you think if someone's following or aligned with their purpose, they're more likely to extend their life? Or
I don't know. I guess it depends. It depends. Her purpose was meant to be fulfilled at 13.
So there you go. So it may or may not change lifespans, but what does it do to the moments we have left? How were her moments? Did she seem miserable?
No, I mean, scared, yeah, but also she found ways to be happy. She found joy where she could. Yeah.
Right. So I'm not saying it's bad to be on your deathbed and not have discovered or revealed your purpose, but maybe your moments could have been better.
Yeah.
So it's up to you, man. Life's flying by. You want great moments? You want like Anne Frank level happiness in the darkest of times? Or do you want to coast through life as a couch potato, hit 90 and look back and think, man, I never found my purpose and that was kind of miserable?
Well, yeah. So like my cousin wanted to pass because she thought like she was tired of living and being in pain. But she never, for the last few years of her life, she did not.
But if she was aligned with her purpose, would her last moments been more like Anne Frank?
Yeah.
And maybe it would have extended her life. But even if it didn't, her last few months, years, whatever, would have been more joyous. Like
Sure.
we all have our time. There's no getting around it. You have a certain amount of time on this planet. I don't know how much, but you got some.
Yes.
And you can either courageously make choices that reveal your purpose and help you zero in on it, thus bring you more joy and fulfillment, no matter how dark times are, or you don't.
Okay, so what about the people who die and they never find their purpose, right? So they have passed on. Do you believe, and I know this is just opinion because we don't really know what happens after, but do you believe that they'll come back to try to fulfill the same purpose, or would they come back with a whole new one?
Well, does it matter?
No, it's just conversation, and I was curious what you thought.
Oh,
It doesn't really matter.
well, so like I said, I believe every soul incarnates with certain milestones set out and
Right.
certain intentions. And the closer you get to those milestones or the more you fulfill those intentions, the happier you'll be.
Okay.
And you have the free will to avoid all the milestones and fulfill none of the intentions. And that's fine too. But that's the recipe for more misery. And so if you live a miserable life and don't fulfill your purpose and come back again, I feel that every soul is an artist, and the artist can say, well, I didn't like those milestones or those intentions. I'm not sure why I set them to begin with, and I'm going to have totally different ones next incarnation. Or it can say, damn, what was I thinking? Why did I avoid the milestones and intentions? I'm going to go back and I'm going to do it right this time.
Right.
And I'm going to do it early, and I'm going to do it fast, and I'm going to impress everybody. And then they'll incarnate and become some child star or something, or follow their dreams, or discover their love of animals early, or whatever it is. But just like any creator, there's no rules and it's not set in stone. And so, some people can come back with the same purpose and some people will come back with a different one.
Cool. I love that. So for me personally, what I believe is like people like Beyonce had a lifetime where she didn't fulfill her purpose and was like, no, I'm going to. And so when when she came back, she was on it. And I was like, from almost birth, I'm doing this. This is what I'm set out to do. Of course, like this really doesn't matter. This is just conversation. I was just curious, and I wanted to share my own belief. I would love to know what you, Rise Rebels, what you guys think. Do you believe that if we die with our purpose unfulfilled, that we'll come back and try again? Or do you believe we'll come back and your soul will be like, yeah, whatever, I'm done. Let's try something new. Or the third one, do you believe that when you die, you're done and that's it?
Yeah, some people don't believe that we are eternal souls or eternal beings.
Yeah, and so I don't want people who don't believe that to think like I don't want to hear what you believe. I want to hear what anybody believes. Any of your thoughts on this topic, on this particular part of the podcast, I would love to know. I'm fascinated by other people's beliefs, especially about afterlife and death. And you can talk about the spiritual side if you wish. If not, it's all good. I just want to throw that out there. So, as usual, you are wonderful and amazing. I appreciate all of your help. Okay, so I want to talk about the depressed people, right? People who have depression or anxiety about purpose, right? And so there's a lot of people out there who feel like when they try to work on this or find their purpose, it causes them some massive, massive anxiety for a couple of reasons. Like they don't know why they're here. They are afraid to find out. They're afraid they can't do it. And I know, we know that fear will stop any of that stuff, right?
It's one of the big layers.
Yes. Fear is a huge reason why people stay in their comfort zones and why a lot of people do die without finding their purpose, because you have to be brave. Like you said, you have to be brave and courageous, and you have to step outside of your comfort zone to find these things. So I just wanted to know if you had like a tip or something to help soothe them a little bit so they can start making steps towards being courageous to find their purpose. Because like I've been on this journey for 5 years. And if you had asked me a couple years ago, did I find my purpose? I would be like, yeah, 100%. But didn't. So
Yeah, because like I said, purpose is a continual thing. You're continually revealing more of your purpose and you're continually aligning better with your purpose. And there's never a perfect alignment, right? Like that flawless, perfect alignment is a pipe dream. It doesn't exist. Like,
well, I just realized something when you said that though. I believed that purpose was like an endpoint.
I know people think it's a binary, like a light switch. Oh, purpose. Oh, no purpose. Do you have your purpose? Yes, I have my purpose. No, I don't have my purpose.
Oh my God, my mind is blown.
Yeah, there's a lot of things in life are a spectrum or an alignment or a moving target, but people just treat them like a binary, like an on-off switch. You either have it or you don't. You either have love or you don't. You either have money or you don't. It's like, no, man, those are all spectrums. Those are all moving targets that you continually have to align with and balance and seek. And if you ever let up on the seeking, you can easily lose it and it's gone again. And you could be beside someone and you could both think, oh yeah, we're both aligned with our purpose, but one of you is super aligned with their purpose and the other one's barely aligned with their purpose. And here they are both claiming, yeah, I have purpose. It's like, this is such a simplistic, childlike way of seeing life. You know, you can ask 1,000 kids if they have good parents. They'll all say, yeah, I have good parents. Or like 900 say, I have good parents, and 100 say I don't. But if, as an adult, if you examine the parents, you'll be like, nah, man, I mean, okay, fine, you all have good parents. But man, some of you, it's like you barely got good parents, and some of you got incredible parents. Like, there's a huge difference. It's a spectrum. You can't just label things as a binary.
Yeah.
So, and oftentimes depressed people fall into this trap. They see things as a binary. I either have friends or I don't have friends. It's like, no, there are people who have less friends than you and less social contact and less interactions. There are people who have slightly more. You have slightly more on weekends than you do in the week. Like it's way more nuanced. It's a spectrum and a moving target, and you can adjust your friend level if you see it clearly and apply yourself and start making like little adjustments towards more friends and more socials and more interactions. It's not uncurable that no one's ever cured on earth, and it's not you either have them or you don't. Like, it's just such a simplistic, immature way of understanding these topics. These topics are nuanced spectrums and moving targets that you align with and balance constantly. They are not binaries. And to me, we are all given purpose, right? If you watch the other purpose video, you'll see that everyone has umbrella purpose of freedom, joy, and growth.
Right.
You can talk to anyone. This is what they're seeking. Whether they say it, admit it, articulate it, realize it, whether they phrase it differently, this is ultimately what they're seeking, to experience more freedom, joy, and growth. So whether you're a happy person who's thriving or a depressed person who's down in the depths of despair, you're still seeking freedom, joy, and growth. And there are different ways to get that. Maybe one person finds freedom, joy, and growth by speaking on stage, and another finds freedom, joy, and growth by making music behind a computer. It doesn't matter. Maybe it changes from phase to phase of life, but ultimately this is what people are seeking. And that means that all of us have our purpose already. That's why I say it's something you reveal and not find. The soul comes to earth with purpose. It's a very purposeful intention to be birthed through a birth canal and conceived by parents and to live out a life's journey. Like, there's a tremendous amount of energy that has gone into this. And nature isn't super big on wasting energy. I don't know if you've noticed. Nature is very efficient with energy. And the amount of energy it takes to conceive and bring a soul to reality is tremendous. And it's done with purpose and intention. It's not some random thing, randomly spit out a human today. That's how nature works. No, nature is very intentional and poetic and efficient and elegant and beautiful and flawless and this kind of thing. And that means we all have our purpose waiting to be revealed. And when we were kids, we kind of knew it. We knew our purpose was freedom, joy, and growth. And we just ran around doing everything we could to experience more freedom, joy, and growth. We ate it up with a spoon and we were good at it. But after 10, 20, 30 years of societal training, most of us have masked our true purpose with layers upon layers of societal burdens and pressures and obligations and struggles and ideas and rules and perceptions and beliefs. And so the purpose is still there, and it will reward you the more you align with it. But you can't align with it until you can see it. And you can't see it until you drop those layers. And you can't drop the layers without courageous decisions in the face of fear. We could do a whole episode on fear because most people don't even know what fear is. When you doom scroll for 10 more seconds than you should have, that was a fear decision. People don't think it. They think it's fluff, it's meaningless, it's no big deal. But no, your intuition and your heart knew that the proper self-care for you, the proper love for yourself and your body and your career and your time and your day was to stop doom scrolling and use the next 10 seconds to get food or make a phone call or meditate or do whatever. And you didn't. And that will punish you. Like, there are not good results from that. There can never be good results from that decision. So now you miss an opportunity. Like, you were going to bump into a friend as you walked out, and they were going to ask you for work. They were going to become a client, or they were going to offer you a place to stay or a piece of furniture. If you left in that 10 seconds, but you didn't, you chose doom scrolling, you chose comfort, you chose stagnation, you chose fear. You did not do the loving thing. You did not do the thing your intuition was saying. You did not do what your heart was telling you. It's your heart. It's your intuition. It's trying to help you. It told you. And for whatever reason, you feared that you would miss a good piece of entertainment or media. You feared that you wouldn't have an orgasm. You feared that, like, you'd run into someone and you're not up for that. You're not in the mood for that or whatever. But it's all just fears, like tiny little fears, baby fears, but they have big results, major results, game-changing results. And so if you continually succumb to moments of fear in your day, all you get is more and more barriers to your purpose. But if you can practice following your intuition, doing the courageous thing, having the guts to step up and do what's right, develop good habits, follow your heart, do what your heart is telling you or calling you to do, even if it looks scary or weird or judgy, even if your heart is telling you, like, pig out on ice cream. Maybe it's telling you that to make you hate ice cream forever. Like, maybe it's telling you that to get you off ice cream for 2 years, but only if you binge this. And then your heart knows that. And your heart is like, dude, just give in to the craving. I know you want to do it, so go do it. And you're like, no, that's not the person I am. I love ice cream, but I don't love it that much. And it's like, well, then don't. Then ignore your heart then, right? And so then you never get the binge, and then you never get the revulsion, and then you never take a break from ice cream for 2 years, and then you don't get fit. Like, that could have been the start of your fitness journey. There are people whose fitness journey starts with, I ate a bucket of ice cream, and that was the final straw.
Yeah,
well,
true.
Well, only your heart knows. Only your intuition knows. I'm not advocating for this behavior for everyone. I'm advocating for following your intuition and your heart courageously and boldly. And if you do this with decision after decision, the barriers come away, the masks fall down, the layers drop, and you get to see more and more of your purpose. And you did it yourself. Moving to Toronto, drop some masks. Deciding you want to help people, drop other masks. Going back to Florida, drop more masks. Having a big fight, drop more masks. Like, you got to do your courageous things, your bold things, your adventurous things, your outside the comfort zone things. And that leads to finding and discovering and revealing more of your purpose, the purpose you had as a child, and that will come back. So it's like a side effect or a reward or something that comes from doing the inner work and conducting yourself better in your day-to-day life. People think it's something they can just moan and whine about on their bed. Oh, I wish I had more purpose, without doing these bold decisions, right? If you've never meditated or never made dance a priority or never been in nature or never done the things that your heart is telling you to do, and you have a million excuses why, who's going to give you purpose? Why is purpose going to come from this? Purpose is a side effect of doing the right thing.
Right. Yeah. It's never going to come to you just hanging out and hoping or praying or wishing or crying even. Lots of people get sad and depressed and they cry about it and they don't know, and what's the point and why should I be here? But when I was like that, because I went through that kind of depression where I didn't understand why I was alive. Like, what's the point? Like, this is so stupid and this sucks and life sucks and then but instead of like trying to get out of that and feel better, I wallowed in it. Let's listen to sad music. Let's watch sad things that's going to make us cry harder. Let's like make it really bad, because why should we not, like, The point so far that we've been here is to suffer. We've been so miserable and sad. Let's just keep suffering.
Yeah, if your mind is telling you to wallow, then it sounds like a fear-based decision that's not going to lead to purpose. But if your heart is telling you to wallow, maybe it will lead to a dark night of the soul, and you'll turn around and it will lead you to your actual purpose. But there's a big difference, right? You can wallow out of fear and routine and intellect and, mind chatter and yada, 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 and society and what you've seen in Hollywood and the media. Or you can wallow because your intuition is telling you, dig deep and indulge in these emotions and watch what happens. Very different.
Yeah.
So purpose is this great, amazing thing in life, but it's not something you're going to find just by watching a video or doing an exercise. It's done by continual inner work and by constantly choosing the loving choice for yourself and others, moment to moment. And it starts with the baby choices, like doom scrolling, or how you phrased an email, or the words you chose in that WhatsApp message. Like, did you choose the loving words? Did you say the kind thing? Did you break out of your comfort zones? Did you try something new? It's how you spend the moments of your day. Did you go to the beach? Did you go for a walk? Did you make up an excuse? What are the differences? Are you following your heart? Did you have the discipline and keep your diet and your nutrition, or did you binge the ice cream? One of them is going to be the correct thing for you, and one of them is going to be a harmful thing for you. And I don't know which. It could be either. No one's here to tell you what to do, but your conscience is telling you, your heart is telling you, your intuition is telling you. And if you can't hear that, you have even more work to do. Sorry, that's how it is. You got to learn how to tune into that voice. In life, there's a lot of things that are connected. If you want a ton of money, you might be able to find it just by coming up with a great idea and making a business. But if you have other issues like commitment issues or discipline issues, then you won't even be able to commit to your business. So you have to work on your commitment issues first. And if you can't commit because your house environment is making it impossible and they're like throwing wrenches in your plans, then you have boundary issues. And so you have to fix your boundary issues and take a stand with these people before you can even work on your commitment issues, before you can even work on your business issues to make the money. And so I'm here trying to explain how to reveal your purpose, but some people will watch this and have a million other issues to work on first. Sorry.
They can't even get to the layer of the purpose because there's so many other layers to go through. It happens to a lot of us. It happened to me.
But that's how it is. Like some people, they just need to come up with a business idea and get to work because they have the other issues handled. Other people have 10 other issues that are going to stop them between now and their great fortune. And it seems unfair or whatever, but it just is what it is, man. Like some of us have a microwave and some of us have to make a fire from scratch before we cook our food. Rough, I'm sorry to say, like that's sort of, sucks to be you, but the steps are the steps and the issues are the issues and the obstacles are the obstacles. And the only option you have is to get to work ASAP and get through them. And so if you're someone who has a million issues preventing you from working on your purpose or revealing your purpose, well, you better get to work. Like get rid of the first one, now work on the second one, then work on the third one. Eventually you'll get your dream. But the only thing that's going to speed up this journey is getting to it, dealing with the issues ASAP, facing reality as it is, admitting your truth, admitting where you're at, and getting to work. I can't explain in an hour how to solve every single issue that might prevent you from reaching your purpose.
No,
kind of figure it out on your own.
If you do want Jay to help you and you want him to sit down with you and go through every single problem and every single issue, he's happy to do that. Just shoot me an email, cyn@jrise.me, and I'm happy to set it up. So we want you to succeed. We want you to really nail this, because once you find your purpose, you're going to feel so good. Even if it's not I have all the answers and even if you have the vague, tiny little purpose to start making steps towards, that's all that count. That's all that you need. And we're happy to help. Jay's, as you can see, is amazing at this stuff. He's so good at it that he put his purpose in a book. It's called Eyes Wide Open Volume 1. And his purpose is to help you rise up so you can elevate your life and we can elevate the collective together. So what better way to do that than to get his book? It's full of his purpose and mine too, because I serve him. That's my purpose. And I edited this book. It's the world's first self-help coffee table book. And you can get your free PDF copy at eyeswideopenfree.com that Jay set up too, because that's part of his purpose also. So yay. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your purpose with us in the form of the book, in the form of coaching, in the form of changing my life forevermore, because that's what you've done. You've given me so much, and I love you, and I'm super grateful. And all of this stuff today, hopefully people can see why I'm obsessed with you and why my purpose is to get you in front of as many people as humanly possible, because I love and adore you. You are my purpose, and I am so happy, and I feel more and more fulfilled the more that I indulge or I move towards my purpose. So I just have one final question for you. And do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with our amazing audience?
Yes. My purpose is telling me to end this immediately. It's enough. We did enough.
All right. Well, there you go. His purpose tells him to end this immediately, and mine tells me to tell you that this is why our book and our podcast are called Eyes Wide Open. After today, you will really deeply understand how to find your purpose and what purpose is and why you want to move towards it. So now you can go to this video here called Your Life and 3.5 Types of Purpose to help you understand purpose even deeper and to help you keep your eyes wide open.
Keep rising.